Hello, welcome to the Eating with Dagmar show. I don't know, it's not really a show, but I like the sound of it. Eating with Dagmar. Um, did you know that like when you put stuff on YouTube, that people write things underneath your YouTube video? Like somebody wrote under my video something like the Eating with Dagmar slash philosophical erotic nutrition. I was like, philosophical erotic nutrition. I like that. So today, I it's a kind of a rainy afternoon, and I'm thinking I'd like something cozy and snacky, and that feels like I'm indulging in some European cafe dessert. So I looked at what I have in my refrigerator, and um, I have some homemade cottage cheese, which I made, which will be another video, and some homemade, what would I call it? Kind of like, what do they call that? Greek yogurt. You know, I made some yogurt and then I got all the way out of it, so it's pretty firm. And I got a little piece of, and all these are raw. I made from raw milk, so it's raw cottage cheese, of course. And this is a raw piece of unsalted cheese from the Amish, grass-fed, of course. So I thought, instead of the last video, I made like a regular cheesecake with a pecan crust. But for snacks, for that you want to be minimally ass enlarging, I'm gonna skip the crust and make like little, just put a cheesecake mixture in these jars and it'll harden, and then I'll have like a ready dessert whenever I want it. So I'll make a couple of these, and I don't know what to call it. I'm thinking cheesecake parfait, or I don't know, something. Or maybe, you know what? I also have some raspberries, so maybe I'm going to add these raspberries. So it'll be like a raspberry cheesecake cup. Raspberry cheesecake cup, or crustless raspberry cheesecake. I don't know. But we'll see. The name will reveal itself. So I am going to, I don't measure rarely unless people really want me to give them a specific measurement. I prefer just eyeballing things, and so that it feels like every time I'm in the kitchen, it's like starting a fresh painting, on clean canvas, and you have no idea what you're going to paint. Or like when you're writing, like when I sit down to write, I've been trained by Jack Grape's method writing, where we've been his process is designed to get out of our own way, to bypass our brain. I'm doing a good job of bypassing my brain on all these videos. So the idea is, when you sit down to write, you try to never know exactly what you're going to write about, because then it will be boring and predictable. So, and actually I'm teaching this work right now, and I always tell people that you don't have to worry that your little set stories or your favorite things to say or think about are going to disappear. They never do. They always stay there. But the more you can get out of the way of you thinking you know what you're going to write about, the more interesting and unpredictable your writing will be. You may get to the same story you've been wanting to tell, but you'll get there in a way that you never, or from an angle that you never imagined possible. Because you were too stuck in your brain thinking like, oh, this is my story, and this is how it's going to be, and this is how it happened. And Jack Grapes would always say, your story is boring, which is true and not true. I mean, yes, your story is boring, but when you learn how to write in such a way that each story has, or each, well, he teaches about image moments, that you take a moment from your story and you put it into a container. It's never boring then. It's only boring when you're doing blah, 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 like morning pages, This is something that the artistic community was doing a lot with that book. I forget her, Julia Cameron's book. Morning pages is just blah, blah, blah. I feel, I think, blah, blah, right? And you're just in your head. And that's an interesting place to be if you know what you're doing, if you know how to maneuver yourself in your head. But it's not enough to be here. You have to always drop down into your heart, and even below your heart into your gut. So why am I talking about writing while I'm about to make a cheesecake? I don't know, because it's all art, I guess. So I just chopped into little tiny cute little blocks of cheese. And this whole, it's like this is a really great example of truly the alchemy of not just the kitchen but of life. We are taking all raw ingredients, and at the end they will have the texture and the smell and the taste of cooked, but even better, because all the enzymes are going to be intact, and raw dairy is so loaded with fat-soluble minerals and all kinds of other goodness, and the raw fat, which, as opposed to pasteurized or cooked fat, is not carcinogenic. It is just the most healing food. It heals your mucous membranes. It also releases the kind of minerals that you need in your body. So I just put that piece of cheese in there. And I was saying is that the alchemy of it, that you're going to take cheese. Who would think like cheese? You're going to put cheese in cheesecake? Duh. It looks crazy because when you're making cheesecake and you're cooking it in the recipe, they'll always say get cream cheese. You get cream cheese and evaporated canned milk. But I guess in wartime it's good. Or condensed milk, right? Hey, if it's wartime, I'll take the canned milk. But so far, it's not wartime in America. I actually lived through a war when I was in 3rd and 4th grade, when I was, believe it or not, when I was in Israel. I think it was called the 6-Day War. So it's not like I'm just talking out my ass. I've been there. And my mother and father survived World War II. So I have a lot of those stories very alive in me. So back to this, the alchemy of taking some cheese, right? And then I'm going to take some raw butter, and I'm going to blend it with some raw eggs and some lemon and raspberries, and I'm going to put my raw cottage cheese and raw yogurt. I'm just like, I've never done this particular thing before. I'm just going to try it. And I'm going to create a brand new texture. I mean, it's all dairy, different stages of dairy, different bacteria makes cheese, and different processes and temperatures and times make various products from dairy. So right now, I guess I have 4 different bacteria. And I love bacteria. I talk to them. And, and I try to feed the ones that I know benefit me. Basically, when we eat, we're just feeding our bacteria. And they do all kinds of marvelous things to transform that food into something that we can use. All right. So I'm going to have the bacteria from the raw cheese, the bacteria from the raw unsalted butter, but you can use salted too. This is A2 butter. It's a different genetics as opposed to A1. So most of the dairy that you buy anywhere is A1, but this one is specifically A2 dairy from a fantastic farm in Pennsylvania. And A2 dairy is for some people who have issues with dairy, even with raw dairy, the A2 dairy is really like, it's much more easier to digest because it has less of the, I forget what the name of that protein is. But like I said in the beginning, I'm doing a really great job of letting go of my brain as I do these um, philosophical, erotic nutrition, eating with Dagmar shows. And then I have the bacteria from the cottage cheese, which is called, the bacteria that grows cottage cheese, that makes cottage cheese, is called mesophilic bacteria. And that means that it does not need heat to, like high heat, like the bacteria that grows yogurt is called, can't remember now, like the acidophilus, is those, they need a higher warmth, like 110 degrees or so, to make them grow. So they're a different kind of bacteria. And the mesophilic bacteria is naturally contained in the raw milk. A bonus, you get free bacteria. So that'll be another video. I'll show you how ridiculously easy it is to make your own cottage cheese. And it is so much better than any cottage cheese you would buy in a store, because when you buy cottage cheese in a store, it usually has some thickener in it, like carrageenan or guar gum or some shit like that, which is just like food for the pathogenic bacteria. It's horrible. It's like, but they put it in there. Like, why do they have to thicken it? Because they're not making real cottage cheese. If they were, my grandma never had to put any thickener in her cottage cheese or in her yogurt. And you'll see this when you get store-bought stuff, like yogurt, they ferment it only for like, 8 hours or something, or probably less, to keep it sweet. So that what happens is that the bacteria don't get a chance to eat all the lactose, all the sugar in the milk. And so, yeah, it's more pleasant, but it's really not medicinal. So when you make your own yogurt, I ferment it for like 18 hours in my dehydrator, and that'll be another video. When you do that, just a spoonful of that kind of yogurt where everything, all the sugars are eaten, a spoonful of that is worth like 3 bottles of probiotics that you can buy in a store. Oh, and another thing about probiotics, you know how they always say, oh, but you need prebiotics. They make it seem like it's this big title. Prebiotic, it's the food for the bacteria, like it's this mysterious prebiotic. All food is prebiotic if it's alive, right? If it's not like, even mega processed food is prebiotic, but it's prebiotic for the bacteria that you don't want to reproduce. So if you're eating living fruits, vegetables, raw dairy, raw meat, raw fish, it's all prebiotic for the bacteria that you want. So they make it sound, this whole thing, it's all about like, separating us from the thing that is the most natural, like separating us from the food that we eat. Like, oh, it has this much percent that and that much percent that, and this is what you need, and it's called this and that, and it's just medicine usurping, or the medical world, whatever you want to call it, the pharmaceuticals usurping what is most natural, sort of like sucking it out of our consciousness, so that we only want to eat things, if we see that it's been approved, or that like, oh yes, this has fiber, this has this much fiber, oh, then I bet I have to eat that, and I have to eat 3 grams of that. That's why I don't like to measure. Oh my God, I feel like I'm talking a lot. But, oh well, I'm here to talk, so here we go. So this is going to be created in the moment, and after all, these delightful bacteria will be mixed in there with the raw eggs and everything. And when you put the butter in there, one of the joys of the butter is that once you put it in there and then you put it in the refrigerator, the butter will be part of it, will do what putting it in the oven does. It will harden the whole thing, and then the dates are going to marry all these flavors together. You can count on the dates. The dates are going to marry. That's interesting. Dates lead to marriage? I haven't had any dates in a long time. I wonder what that means. Okay, well, I'm gonna contemplate that after I make this delicious dessert. And then I'll get back to you if I have any grand insights about dating and marriage. So, I'm gonna eyeball it, and I've had this butter sitting out, and you can see how soft it is, which tells you how dang hot it is over here. I'm just sweating here in the South. I feel like I need a nice little mint julep to buck me up. I know, I'm working on my Southern accent. My dream has always been, oh, I don't know if you know, I'm an actress, and I've always wanted to play Blanche Dubois, but I am so not the right type for that. But who cares? Because due to the current situation of the world, where people are doing things that don't necessarily support life with their bodies, due to that situation, I can't perform anymore. I can't even audition. I guess Hollywood is missing out. What can I tell you? I have had to change my life, and I'm glad. It's been great. Now the only companies that might have me, that might be okay with me working on their film as an actor, will be like Christian films. Why not? I have no problem with Jesus. Okay, so I just put some butter in there. Now I'm going to, this is my homemade cottage cheese. But why did I bring up my actress thing? I'm sure there was a reason, but oh well, it's gone now. It has vacated the premises. I really should have been born a blonde with big breasts. That would suit me fine. I'd like to just walk around and fulfill the stereotype of just being blonde and thoughtless and happy, and I would walk around radiating my breasts like a gift to the world. My cleavage would be like this jewel of light. It makes sense though. I mean, it's very close to the heart, the breasts. So I think that really they are gifts of radiance to bring smiles to and joy to sad hearts. And even if you're a straight woman like me, I think it's a beautiful gift if I see a woman who recognizes the beauty of her form or the bounty of the gifts that God gave her. And if I see a woman walking around, not like manipulating or trying to get stuff with that, like, here's my breasts, buy me a car, not that kind. Or here's my breasts, marry me. But there are some women, maybe not so much in America, but, or maybe, yes, in America, but not in the big cities part of America. There are women who just naturally are comfortable with their bounty, and they recognize that, it's nothing to hide or to use to manipulate. They just are natural with it, It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. In my next life, I will come back as a blonde with bounteous breasts. In the meanwhile, I do what I can with what I got, and I enjoy it. Okay, so I just put that in there, the cottage cheese, and now this doesn't even look like yogurt. It's that hard, but it has a different bacteria and a different texture. Look at this. It's more like, I don't know, maybe it's like farmer's cheese or something. But I think it's going to be very interesting. And it has natural tartness. Actually, you know what? I don't think I have to put a lemon in this particular formula, because it's tart, What can I say? It's tart. I'm not. I'm not. tart, nor am I one, because I come from the school of belief that beauty and any kind of energy that is full of vitality is holy. It's a gift. So if you're blessed with, whether it's just the beauty of your speech or the beauty of your countenance, you know, some people just have that kind of some women just have that beauty that you can't put your finger on, because it's not really, it's not the eyes, it's not the nose, you know, it's not the mouth, but it's just like a countenance. You know, like you can feel it radiating, just a countenance of a kind of a quiet joy that is undisturbable, you know, like a lovely body of water. Oh my God, where am I going with this today? I don't know. So, okay, so now you can see what I've put in here so far. We got the mix of cottage cheese, yogurt, butter, and I think I'll throw in the berries. You know, I don't think I need to wash these. You know, it'll be another form of what they call soil organisms, you know, bacteria from the soil. Those are very good for us too. And maybe I should call this pink cheesecake parfait or something, because this is going to give it a lovely color. And you know, eye appeal is you know, there's something to be said about that in terms of the flavor, you know. Just so now I'm going to put some dates in here, because they are the marrying food. Oh, I hope the dates don't, because they're brown, I hope they don't make the red look. I hope this doesn't end up looking like, if you combine red and brown, it might be kind of like, it might look like mud instead of pink. Pink mud. I have to clean the pit because I don't want to waste anything. I don't like wasting. It's just how I was raised by my grandma. You don't leave food on your plate when the neighbors may not have enough to eat. So if you're going to leave food on your plate, you better invite the neighbors. What a different world we live in. Nobody thinks about their neighbors anymore. Not in a real way. Only in the virtue signaling way. I'm gonna do this because I don't want to kill grandma. So this way you know that I'm a good person. That's how people do it. And that does not move me. That's just how I am. So now I'm thinking of putting a dash of honey in here too, because honey, truly raw honey, like that has never been heated. And that is the case with this honey. Truly raw honey has all kinds of medicinal enzymes in it. And according to my main mentor for eating is Agenus von der Planets. According to him, when you add honey to like raw cheese, it helps to release the minerals from the cheese, and so that you can absorb them better. Whew, I'm having a boiling hot flash. It is so, like, the wind has stopped blowing. I have my sliding door open, but time to cool down. Oh, how lovely. I really should get a fan. That sounds very civilized. Maybe I will do that sometime soon. But by the time I do, it'll probably be winter, and then I'll be freezing my ass up. Okay, enough cooling down. Woo-wee! You know, when it's so humid that it's like you can start to feel, you know, that bead of sweat on your upper lip, and your whole body is just like It's water evaporating. All right, so I am going to take just a little bit of honey. It's local honey from this guy who I know for sure does not heat the honey in order to put it in the to get it out of the hive, and he doesn't smoke the hive either. So okay, just a little bit of honey. A very important survival food. If you think about shit hitting the fan, honey will never go bad. It will be good for 1,000 years. And it's got so much in it. Honey, salt, raw apple cider vinegar, staples for survival. In my humble opinion. Okay, so I think I got everything in there. The only thing that's missing, and that's always a vital part of making food, is like a tiny dash of, this is my fleur de sel, because that's kind of the secret of cooked cake. Even though this is not going to be cooked, it's going to be raw as raw can be. Oh, I forgot. Here we go. The egg. I mean, you don't have to put the egg in there, but I try to find any reason I can eat raw eggs, I do it. And as you know, if you've watched any of my other videos, you know that I always, when I do raw eggs, I go one by one to make sure that they're perfectly fine. And I like to clear my nose so that I can really smell well. It's actually part of one of my acting techniques that I learned way back from Silvana Gallardo. Before we do any work, we do a breathing exercise, and part of it is goes like this. But I don't want you to see me do this. This is kind of gross. But you exhale forcefully through your nose, and that clears everything so you can smell clearly. So yeah, I did it. So now my nose is clear. Smells great. Nothing wrong with that egg. And I'm gonna do one more. But I just hope that I inspire somebody out there to also like have fun in the kitchen. Perfectly fine. You know, I mean, this is the place. This is the place to create. And if you have a family, I mean, or if you, it's just to see, you know, if your children see you making stuff and creating new things, not always the same thing, you're really preparing them for life, because life is never the same. It's always different. You don't always have the same supplies. You have different circumstances, different needs. So, and if you don't have children and you just have, let's say, a husband or a boyfriend or someone, or even a girlfriend, you know, it's fun to be dancing in the kitchen. And if you have a man in your life, then great time. Like the only time that I recommend ever wearing like high heels or putting on skimpy, you know, sexy little dresses. Don't go out there in the world. You know, this is not the old country. It's not like you have a bunch of Southern gentlemen protecting your virtue when you go out there. Unless you're married to one, then, you know, fine. Then he go out there, you know, skimpy and sexy. But I think that the kitchen is one of the best places to put on your high heels. And so you're not walking too much and you don't hurt your back. And because high heels are just not practical. I mean, come on. Who walks around in high heels except people in Hollywood series or films? You know, it's so rare that you're going to see that. So, but there's a place for it. So don't throw away your high heels or your skimpy, daring little outfits or your exotic outfits. Don't throw those away. Keep them as your kitchenware. All right, enough of that philosophizing. And I'm going to make some noise and blend this and hope that the color is good. It's looking kind of peachy. So just for color's sake, you won't be able to taste this, I think, just so that, well, I don't know. It's peachy is pretty, but maybe we'll see at the end. I could always add just a little bit of a little beet, or if you have any amount of beet powder, which will just make it look pink. All right, let's see. this little Cuisinart, it's like it's shaking like it's going to explode or something. So perhaps I should go buy a new one, but hopefully it will last. Let's see the flavor. Let's taste the flavor. Oh, wow. That is so like nothing I've ever tasted before. It's creamy, but it's light, and it's got it's like a dash of fruitiness. Even though, it's like, I know it's not peach. There's no peach in there, but it tastes like peach. I don't know if you can see the color. It's a peachy color, and sometimes our eyes can make us taste things that aren't there. Yeah, I would think that there's peach in there, but it's nothing but 6 raspberries. If I had more raspberries, I would put them in and make it raspberry colored, but I don't. So I think I can add a little more honey. And I don't think it even needs any lemon. Well, let me see. I'm going to add another spoon of honey. And I feel like to get that cream cheese consistency, you have to have enough fat. And the fat should be, the fatty flavor comes from none else but butter. So I'm going to put a little bit more butter in here. Take it over to its next level of amazingness. Can't let it go to waste. And again, I'm making this just for myself, so this will probably last me about 4 days. I'll divide it into 4 cups and put it in the refrigerator, and every time I feel like I need that cozy, delicious treat, then I'll have it in the refrigerator. And it can last for probably more than a week, I'm sure. I'm gonna put just a dash of lemon in there to make it even more cheesecakey. I should look at what a real cheesecake recipe, like the kind that you cook, has in it. I'm pretty sure it has lemon. All right, let me just blend this one more time and we'll be done in a second. Unless I think of something else. Oh, you know what? Let's put a little beet in there while we're at it. Why not? I think I'd like this to go from peach to more pink. I always have a beet around because, first of all, beet has, oh gosh, now if I can remember, you know what nitrous, oh God, no, nitric oxide is a gas that's made in your own nasal cavity when you're breathing through your nose. So mouth breathing is terrible. It, I'm cutting it into little pieces. Um, and when nitric oxide is released into your bloodstream, like as you inhale it, it's made in your nasal cavity, and you inhale it into your lungs and it goes into your bloodstream. It signals to the body that all is well, and it switches you from your sympathetic nervous system, which is the one, the fight or flight one, the one like, something's gonna kill me, I gotta survive, right? To your parasympathetic, which is the part of the system that knows that all is well. Hey, we can create. We don't have to just try to survive. You can be relaxed and creative. So beet is one of those things that helps to assist the body in making the nitric oxide. And I pray that I have pronounced things correctly. And we'll see. If not, then, well, you know, I forgive myself for making a mistake. And that's how you learn. You make mistakes, and then they're not mistakes once you realize that you've learned something. So they are learning experiences. Because who wants to carry a bag of mistakes all your life? Oh, I made a mistake. Oh, I hope it never happens again. I gotta keep it from ever happening again. Horrible way to live. I made a mistake. I learned something, and onward and upward, right? All right, so now we're gonna watch it transform to a different color. Yes, it's getting pink. Who needs food dyes and crap like that? You have all the colors you want in nature. Now, if I didn't have raspberries, my blueberry bush has already been eaten by me and the bears. But if I had blueberries, I would have put them in here, and it would have turned blue. Oh, look at this beautiful color now. See, now it's pink. It's truly salmon pink. It's really nice. No way could you taste the beet. Not at all. It's just oh, yeah, yeah. It took a while. It took a few moments. You want that feeling that when you put it in your mouth, you feel it like it's deeply satisfying. You're getting the salty, sweet, sour, and fatty all in one. You know, and when you put it in your mouth, you feel like, it's good to be a human. We came here to eat. Or at least to enjoy the process of taking things into ourselves and also releasing things. I had a friend who I was teaching a writing class, and she said she wrote a beautiful, brilliant piece about something that came up from her past. And after she finished writing it, she was like, wow, that really took a lot out of me to write that. And when she said that, it took a lot out of me, I was thinking like, oh my God, I've been using that expression. Oh, it took a lot out of me. And I realized that, yeah, it took a lot out of her. That it's not just like, oh, it took a lot out of me, but it took what was sitting somewhere in the dungeon, you know, feeling like no light could ever get to it, just sitting there going, oh, who wants to hear this? You know, she using art as a vehicle of revelation. It took a lot out of her. And now, instead of sitting there in the dungeon or in the back of her heart, it is now a work of art, a beautiful work of art, a written piece. So it just really made me think, today about how many times people are complaining or saying, oh, wow, that took a lot out of me. Yeah, I did this, I did that, or, I confronted that, or whatever. But to think of it like, it took a lot out of me. It's you truly create it. And that's why I think art is the final and only solution, the final and only revolution. And, of course, art can be used for bad or for good, but at least being connected to your own creativity is so important. And it doesn't matter how you do it. It could be in the kitchen. Oh, there's still a whole beet in here. Okay, they didn't fully grind them. So it's going to be even more pink. Oh my God. Okay, see, you just have to keep exploring the flavors as you're making it. What suits you? I like just the edge of sweet. I don't ever want it to be like, oh, it's sweet. But just at the edge of sweet, where sweet meets tangy sour. And then it has to have that fat in there that feels like it's dancing with them both. And these ingredients really married well. The dates did a fantastic job of harmonizing everything in here. So one more blend. Brilliant. And now all the good bacteria are integrated. They're having a party. They're happy to be together. And I'm going to pour them into these cups. I have a serious jar collection. I don't know what I would do without my glass jars. I prefer that to plastic. And I'm going to pour this, divided probably into 3. And it's going to harden. When I put it in the refrigerator, it's going to take on the texture of cooked cheesecake. So it's going to be amazing. So what do I call this? I think pink cheesecake cups. I don't know. If you have any better ideas, let me know. So I hope you enjoyed this as much as I have enjoyed this. And I will soon make my cottage cheese making and my yogurt making video. All right. Have an amazing week full of pleasant surprises, and may you have the strength and courage to live your fullest life in every moment and enjoy everything that happens in your day, especially the surprises.